This is the Pete Wong Podcast, sharing the things that I love with those that I love. I've always wanted to talk about the things that I care about in life. People have told me time after time, why don't you just share more of you? And with that, let's go. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Pete Wong Podcast. How's everyone doing out there? We are nearing the end of the year, and I thought that we were wrapping up the show with our previous one, but then still had some more things wanted to talk about, wanted to share. I asked my buddy, one of my best friends, I've mentioned him a couple times in the podcast, Henry Rodriguez, to come help join us and be a co-host, and he was so down for it. He even dressed up today for the holidays. So there we are, Grinch, the Grinch. But Henry's not a Grinch. How you doing, Henry?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks a lot for agreeing to, being a part of this podcast. And I'm really just glad that you wanted to do this. And I think we're gonna have a lot of fun today.
So you were looking for somebody to take over the conversation, and you thought Henry will do it.
Pretty much.
No.
A big reason why I asked Henry to be a co-host is because there's many things that I've been wanting to share, I've been wanting to say and share with the listeners. So that's what this show, this episode, we want to tackle. A lot of people out there, 2020 has its highs and lows, and it continues to. And I just wanted an opportunity with Henry to talk about it and to share our perspectives. In this episode, we are going to talk about some possible subjects that may trigger some people. And I just want to set it up in that way out of respect for the listeners, that that I'm just sharing my story, and just to prepare, because some of these topics are very sensitive, and I do not want to be sharing my story, but at the same time, it's not an attack. It's not I'm choosing this side or that side. I'm just sharing my story. Now, within the story, you may see where my values lie. Would you mind telling the listeners a little bit about you? Just so we know who's going to be co-hosting today.
In a general sense, I'm just, I guess, I'm a professional computer nerd. That's what I do for a living. / entrepreneur / inventor, and look out, I have something big coming. And other than that, I'm just a human being in love with human experience, and loving the connection that I have built with people over time. Pretty much love being in love, so to speak, and not in a romantic way, but I think that love goes beyond that. There's just something there, trying to decipher what life is about and what I love. That's pretty much it. I think that sums it up.
Well, thanks. Where are you located?
I am in Southern California. I actually moved out of, I'm in Santa Clarita, California now. Funny how it worked out, because I left California about a year and a half ago. I moved to South Carolina, and I was there for a year. And it was good. I believe that it was a great experience for me. But I love California, and ever since I was little, ever since I first to the United States when I was 12, I first came to Los Angeles, and I was here for maybe about a month and a half. Then I went to New York. Then when I was about 24 or 25, I moved to Los Angeles, Then after about a year and a half, I had to. I took it up on myself to move back to New York and New Jersey. But California never left. I never got rid of the thing about loving California. After being back in New Jersey or in New York for, I would say, about 15 years or something like that, I decided, you know what? Life's too short to be unhappy, or at least to wonder what if.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, packed my bags and moved to California. And shortly after, I met you in South Carolina. It was good. I mean, I got to spend some great time with my family out there, and it was great from a professional point of view. I made some great advances while I was there, but after my lease was up, it was time to come back, and that was about it. Then suddenly this whole COVID thing kicked in. And there was a part of me that was saying, "Holy crap, I'm gonna have to stay here for longer," and I didn't want to. Ruby and I packed the dogs in the car, and we drove to back to California. It just so happens that the day we got here, remember those riots that happened in downtown LA, well, all over LA.
Yeah.
That's the day we were getting here. So
Oh, that's
we
right.
drove for 2 days, and I was tired. I was exhausted. And when I finally got to LA, they closed LA out. You couldn't get into LA.
Oh my gosh.
So we had to pull some magic. Ruby knew some back roads, and that's how we ended up getting inside. But it was a pain to get here. Took us a while to find a place to live, but once that happened, man, it's been a joy to be here. The sad thing is, I mean, sad for me, is the fact that as soon as I was coming back, you were preparing to leave
Yeah.
and move to Minnesota. I was looking forward to, regrouping and getting together and do the things that we love to do together.
Yeah.
But, just like I left, you left. Just like I came back, you come back.
Yeah.
But what exactly what happened that led you to move back to Minnesota?
I was in Los Angeles at that time. I had been laid off work, and luckily was receiving unemployment. That was another kind of difficult process, because in California, there's so many people that that when you get on the phone or the internet, you can't get hold of anyone. I
Right.
remember talking to my family back here in Minnesota, and my brother was like, "Oh yeah, I just went into the office and I talked to somebody." And I just remember like hearing that and feeling like that's great for them, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
still very flustered and
Right.
and very stressed, which I think a lot of people out there, they might still be. Even that's a big part of what we're going to be talking about in this episode is this balance, or this way of being, whether in your head mentally or how you take action. I decided to take a chance and mail my unemployment, and I always bless the universe that I was able to receive it. So I never thought about moving out of LA. I thought I would get unemployment, and then like many people probably, that things were going to go back to normal in the summer. So when the incident happened with George Floyd, uh, and the Minneapolis police, police officers, um,
Oh, that was close to home. Okay.
that was that was
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
since I've been back, I've driven by that area, and it's just
Mm-hmm. Okay.
it's just a different feeling. There was a morning where on Instagram I was scrolling, and a friend had posted a couple of videos of the advocates, um, who some of them were friends of George Floyd, some of them were just supporters, of the movement, and
Right.
they were very charismatic. And uh, I remember one of them saying, "If you're not with us, you're against us." And I woke up that morning, kind of having an epiphany, and I guess an awakening, which I didn't even understand myself. I realized that I wasn't completely, fully invested in the Black community, uh, the Black people, their narrative, their story. Again, this is a sensitive, even for me, it's hard to talk about it because I'm still, uh, still working through it, still processing, to a certain extent. I realized that morning it was true. If I wasn't picking a side, then I was still supporting the systems in place. I
Mm-hmm.
was still supporting this narrative that I grew up thinking
Mm-hmm.
and never felt safe, never felt comfortable to be in a space to talk about it, which that had changed because of the people had been, you know, uh, building relationships with in
Mm-hmm.
uh, in California, which really
Right.
opened my eyes and really made me feel safe to talk about these things. So
Mm-hmm.
that morning, I decided, and I usually don't do it, but I decided, well, I want to say something too. I want to make a stand. I wrote a post on Facebook, and at the end of it, I quoted Malcolm X's by any means
Right.
necessary."
Uh-huh. I remember that post.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think anything of it. I just thought I spoke my piece. I took a stand. I have no regrets. Like it felt different.
Mm-hmm.
And then about 5 minutes later, I got a text from the person that I was living with, and she said, "Can we talk about your post?" And I was like,
Really?
"Yeah."
Okay.
And I was
Okay.
like, "I didn't even know you were on Facebook." Okay. And so we sat down by the pool outside, and we actually had a very healthy conversation. And healthy meaning this individual shared what their belief is and where
Right.
they stood, and at the same time they did respect mine.
Uh-huh.
But by the end of that conversation, I was asked to leave to leave my place that I was living.
Because of your stance on the issue.
Exactly.
Oh wow. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
The very first thing I was thinking was, oh shit, I need to find a place to live.
Right.
I wasn't thinking anything else. And I think it was because we were in the pandemic.
Right.
And the last thing I was thinking about was not having a roof over my head.
Right.
I started to make a plan for getting a new apartment, finding a roommate.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at, apartments, and I just couldn't make a decision fast enough. And every decision that I was thinking about making, I wasn't comfortable with. Like I didn't want to spend that money for a
Right.
12-month lease for somewhere I
Right.
didn't want to live.
Right. Okay.
And the roommate that I was trying to hoping uh, uh, would be willing to move in with me, he didn't want to move where I wanted to move.
Okay.
And so I just felt pressed. I felt like time
Mm-hmm.
was limited, money was, uh, limited, and I had to make a decision because I had 30 days, and by then it was like day 15, I think.
This lady gave you 30 days.
Yep, yep,
Okay. Okay.
exactly. The idea came across to go back home,
Mm-hmm.
go back to Minnesota.
Right.
And so I ran it by my family, and at that time I didn't want to do it because I felt like I was enjoying my life except for work.
Right.
um but I was making it work because I was
Right.
enjoying the things that I
Mm-hmm.
was doing with my life. I had found my purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and I was enjoying the company. I was enjoying training. I was
Right.
enjoying building relationships. But I thought, and with lots of support from my friends and family, I thought, well, I'll give it to the end of the summer. I'll save some money
Mm-hmm.
with unemployment, and I'll come back.
Right.
That was the plan. A big part of this process, and I want to encourage the listeners because the podcast is about health and wellness. It's about
Mm-hmm.
helping provide a perspective for people that might be stuck. And so, my training, our training,
Mm-hmm.
had taught me, had trained me, had prepared me to not try to think too much about the situation because you have to make a decision. I just made the decision. One of my things that I say, make a decision, stick to it.
Right.
And that way we can just be in the process of life more and letting go and not be attached to things that are uncontrolled. I had to talk to a lot of people because I think I was also going through some trauma too by what happened. And it was a new thing for me, talking
Okay.
about race, talking about uh not just talking about it, but taking a stand for what I believe in.
Right. Right.
And I think that I grew from that experience so much,
Mm-hmm.
but I was put in a frenzy. I was put in a very uncomfortable position that I
Right.
wasn't prepared for. So then I bought my ticket and I was scheduled to be on a plane July 1st. I made a schedule for what I had to do before then, packing, I had to get rid of things because I can't keep it. So I had to get rid of
Right.
it. I couldn't bring it with me. Around 2 weeks before I left, I went to meet up a friend to drop off a book to him.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're sitting there eating tacos, we had the mask, but then we pulled it
Mm-hmm.
down
Right.
and we're sitting, in a booth.
Right.
He checks his phone and I'm like, why does he keep looking at his phone?
Mm-hmm.
And then he has a disappointed face on his,
Mm-hmm.
a look on his face, and he shows
Right.
me on his phone
Mm-hmm.
positive.
Oof.
His COVID test
Yeah.
positive and sitting right in front of me.
Wow. All right. Okay. Jeez. Yeah. And at that time, it was new, and it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was, in hindsight, I remember when he showed me that phone and it said positive, and inside of me I was like shaking
Mm-hmm.
because the reality didn't sit with me yet. The reality
Right.
was like, it was very surreal.
Right.
It was like, I'm here. Wait. Wait.
Did this just happen?
Did this just happen? And then because because of my training, I was able to process a lot of things at once, and yet
Uh-huh.
and then calm myself down
Uh-huh.
because I knew I had to start taking action.
Right.
I knew I couldn't just sit there in front of him and continue to be,
Right.
The other thing too was I made a decision not to be angry at him
Right.
because I knew that wouldn't help my situation.
Correct.
I was freaking out, and
Mhm.
and I ended up calling my roommate.
That this is the person that gave you 30 days to vacate your living space, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
And given my roommate's age,
Uh-huh.
uh, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to enter that house again.
Right. Right.
But I didn't realize the reality of the situation. I was just kind of taking one step at a time,
Mhm.
and I didn't even have a time to process. I just knew that because it was like 10 o'clock at night.
You
Mhm.
were out having tacos with your friend,
Yep.
and it
Like,
was 10 o'clock p.m. Wow. Okay.
yep. It was around 10 when I, like probably 9:30 when I called my roommate. And then I called my buddy Kevin, because he had just moved to another apartment. So I thought
Uh-huh.
maybe just talking to him, I thought maybe
Uh-huh.
he could help me problem solve.
Right.
And he was gonna try to let me stay at his old apartment,
Right.
but nobody felt comfortable with that. So
Right.
then luckily he said, and I thank Kevin, although Kevin, I never thanked you, sorry. Um, I'm thanking you now. He said, if you want, I will pay for your hotel.
Okay.
The light bulb hit in me.
Uh-huh.
As much as I may have not wanted to do it, I
Right.
knew that this was an option for me.
Okay.
So I seized it. I got on the phone. I called whatever hotel I thought looked decent, and bless the universe, I found a hotel that was decent in North Hollywood. And I went and I quarantined myself. And even at that time, I didn't even know what that meant.
How long did you quarantine for?
14 days.
All right. So,
Yep.
just the reality of like you getting evicted. That's not including the emotional stress of why you were being evicted.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, the entire country is going nuts. Well, the entire world is going nuts over this pandemic that's just started. And you are faced with the possibility that you might have contracted the thing that we are all afraid of at that time. You lock yourself up in a hotel room in North Hollywood for 14 days. Okay.
Yeah.
What does a man or a person, I'm sorry, what does a person for 14 days when you have so much to do, which includes packing, it includes moving, it includes getting rid of things, um, but you can't leave your hotel room for 14 days. Mentally, it had to be a very tough, a very tough task to complete. Emotionally, on the same lines, to mind the fact that you locked yourself up for 14 days, I would go nuts. I can't even. I'm surprised I've been in this chair for as long as I have because I have this innate desire. Excuse me, innate desire to roam. So for 14 days, what do you do in a hotel room?
And thank you for presenting it that way, because I was there are some key things that I want to share with the listeners. And y- you know, the training that we do uh with our mentor uh and coach Orpheus Black, it really taught me that when things get chaotic, when things are maybe not in your favor, maybe not
Mm-hmm.
ideal situation, to sit in that being uncomfortable, because there's no other choice.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really cool is and I'm so grateful that you're co-hosting, because remember that time when you shared with me the story about the lobster
Right. Okay.
in
Yes.
the shell.
Right.
The old me would have lost it, would have panicked, would have like just crawled up in a ball. And some years had passed, since since that time when you shared with me the Lobster Story, which I love, and it really helped me at that time and still helps me. For some reason, I had gained this composure that at some point I gained it. Like I was very sure about certain things. And so the first thing that, because the old me, my previous programming, my previous narrative would have thought about the money. I can't
Okay.
afford a hotel, I can't afford food. How am I going to do this? But the new me was just do what you got to do and it's going to manifest itself how it needs to manifest. Take care of the
Okay.
most important thing, your health.
Right.
And I had no idea what that meant.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
just knew if I have this thing,
Uh-huh.
which you're right, it was early, and I was not as diligent as my roommate who paid attention
Uh-huh.
to the news, who read articles.
Right.
I was like, I'll deal with it when I have to. I'll be very precautious, but I'll
Right.
deal with it, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, I started reading real fast
Uh-huh.
online in the hotel. I got on the phone and I talked to the person at the LA person in charge of COVID, the people you
Uh-huh.
talk to.
Okay.
And I thank you to those members of that organization that talked to me on the phone, because they calmed me, they encouraged me. They said you're doing an excellent job. Thank you for keeping everyone safe. That was very encouraging for me, because by them telling me that I was doing the right thing, I felt like I had made the right choice. Whether I had it or I didn't have it, it'd probably be a smart idea to take care of my immune system.
Right.
I made it a ritual in my head, even if I don't want to do, like, cuz I had a routine,
Mm-hmm.
but being in that hotel, your mind plays tricks on you, like, this isn't the gym. This isn't a comfortable space.
Right.
I remember doing yoga poses and I was like, is that a cockroach? you know you know what I mean? Like, but that's the reality of being uncomfortable.
Right.
What's more important, your health or that cockroach and being uncomfortable?
Right.
So that's what I did. I did everything that I had to do every day. So what I did was, every day I wrote a to-do list,
Uh-huh.
and then I'd exit. But because things were changing all the time,
Uh-huh.
I had to. It became chicken scratch, like Eminem says.
Right. Okay.
But I had a destination. I knew where I was going. I just didn't know what the universe was going to present to me.
Right.
That's where I called you. I called Orpheus, and I told you guys what had happened.
Okay.
And this is where I think the people that love you really show you the road, really show you the path. And you guys said, don't worry, I got you. And that helped me so much, because I didn't feel alone, even though I physically was alone.
Mm-hmm.
You guys were there to support me. And then I remember, like you said, send me a list of things that you need and I'll drop it off.
Right.
And I remember Orpheus saying, be the leader that you are.
Uh-huh.
So do the things. So he was telling me, continue writing in my blog.
Right.
He was telling me to do these
Right.
things that to keep me occupied. And
Right.
so you came through that evening.
Uh-huh.
You We haven't seen each other for over a year.
Correct.
and you had just been back, what, like
A week,
a
maybe
week?
less.
Yeah. and and I got to see you at a distant,
Uh-huh.
and listeners, Henry and and Ruby uh brought brought me this care package, so I could have food to eat, and keep me safe and keep other people safe, so I didn't go out. And I just remembered, like, this is the reality, like, this is what people are dealing with. This is what, I'm one person that's dealing with this, but there's a lot of people that are
Uh-huh.
dealing with it in their own way. Not being able to hug my best friend who I haven't seen, over a year, uh, that bothered me. But at the same time, I felt grateful for the fact that I have a friend like that. And and Orpheus, and and the other friends that I talked to in the hotel. So I did all the things that I thought would help me, and I made the space mine.
Right. Okay.
But it was kind of like a everyday thing, it was like, you know, creating a schedule and like, okay, who do I got to talk to, and that kind of stuff. And then also letting go. A lot of just surrendering, and being like, I don't have an answer. Maybe somebody will I'll talk to somebody and they'll present it to me. Like, I didn't know how I was gonna move my stuff to Minnesota. I went through, U-Haul. I went through just rid of everything.
Right.
Get in my car and drive. A lot of troubleshooting, a lot of problem solving.
Mhm.
But my friends and my family helped, and different people came through to help me out. I still have some boxes. You still have some of my stuff, and I just feel grateful for just having good people in my life that could help me out. To answer your question, how did I move my stuff? Even though my roommate kicked me out, she still wanted to help me. And she said, I will help you pack your things. And luckily, I had a lot of things packed already. But she said, if you walk me through, I'll help you pack. I'll meet you somewhere. I'll drop off the box. You can pull up after I leave, load it in your car, and then
Right.
if you stop to think about it, it is overwhelming. If you stop to think about it, it's like, why the fuck do I want to do all this stuff?
Right.
But I had a destination. I had a goal,
Right.
and one of the goals was to be healthy.
Right.
So I did it, and we must have made those trips like 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
You
Well, that's
know,
not bad.
not bad, not bad. Little tedious things like carrying boxes
Right.
up and down the steps, in the hall, even taking out the key, little things like that can really
Yeah.
get to us.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's like, it's okay. And then the space that I had created in the hotel started getting changing because of my boxes.
Okay.
So then
Right.
I had
Right.
even less room to
Uh-huh.
exercise.
Okay.
But we make it work. And then luckily I was on food stamps, so I was able to get some food online through Amazon Fresh,
Uh-huh. Okay.
and that kept me
Nice.
going. And then because I felt like people were helping me, I wanted to give back.
Uh-huh.
And I noticed that a lot of people downstairs, they had this area in the hotel where people donate food and donate clothes. Well, most
They
of the
had a donation
Mhm.
spot in the hotel.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, most of the food
Okay.
was processed stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I
Right.
decided to use my food stamp and buy some food for people and leave it there.
Oh, oh wow.
And you know
Okay,
what
cool.
happened? As soon as I dropped it off and I went back down, it was gone.
Uh-huh. It was gone. Yeah.
It was
I can
gone.
imagine.
I saw the guy carrying like all these things. I
Yeah.
was like, why don't you share?
Hey man, listen, it's a thoughtful thing to do. I mean, to maintain that kind of mental and emotional composure uh, during a time, because you sit a certain way, having been through it, but the reality of it is that what was happening is that your entire life was being flipped upside down. Um, from everything that we all hold dear, your home was taken away. Your friends were taken away in a way due to the quarantining of people.
Mhm.
Um, so there goes you love. And I remember talking to you, and you said that it was a little difficult because you were quarantined all the time. This with your roommate, you
Yep.
know, not that it had anything to do with her, but just being quarantined was
Yep.
tough. And then your job was gone, you know, and down to the micro level where all your belongings were now uh, placed it away from you. So every aspect of your life was pretty much taken away, and then you have to have a presence of mind and emotional, I guess, fitness
Mhm.
to go through that process during a time where it's almost inevitable to do things on your own,
Mhm.
to do things by yourself. I mean that's definitely a tough situation at the time, but it's like everything else. You made it through, and I believe that you came out of it stronger because he put you to the test, to tests that even you didn't know that you were able to do. It's not, sometimes it's not until we are posed in the position to do certain things that we find out, wow, I can do that. I can do, I can be the strong person that I need to be because I have to be. You find yourself done the quarantine. Did you take a test uh, to verify that you were negative and all that good stuff?
Yeah, I had to take it twice because I wasn't sure if the I took the test too early the first time.
Okay.
So I took
Okay.
it again, and yeah, it was nerve-wracking, but I just trusted all the people that loved me, and they said, "Don't worry about it, just stay
Mm-hmm.
positive."
Mm-hmm.
And actually a friend of mine back in Minnesota had posted a YouTube video that she had
Mm-hmm.
gotten, and she shared about her experience with it. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, the one thing, because they asked her at the end, what's one thing that you want to share with people now that you've gone through it? And she said, stay positive, stay positive, stay positive. And
Mm-hmm.
so I knew that if that's what helped her, I had to plant that in me. And
Right.
so with all my friends and family that supported me, that process was, all a part of that, because they were doing the same thing. So it would
Mm-hmm.
be wrong for me to not
Mm-hmm.
continue to support what they believed in me.
Right. Right.
So yeah,
You certainly don't want to be the weakest link.
that's right. Yeah.
I hear you.
Quarantine for 14 days, and then you came and picked me up on day 15,
Uh-huh.
which was July 1st, which was the date of my flight.
All right. So you went through all of that.
Mhm.
Finally, you get out of the hotel,
Yep.
and now you got to get on a flight back to Minnesota.
Yep.
Okay. I remember that day. Uh, so some things in life are just bittersweet. It was
Yeah.
a great day. We had a great day. I
Yeah.
mean, we had a great day. The only thing we did not do that day was eat. Um,
Oh yeah.
we
Wow.
didn't eat. We didn't eat. But
Which is yeah.
we did train. We were out there with Orpheus, and we were in the park, and you know, we were doing the thing, and we had a great time. It was, it was the first time for me after over a year of not being able to train with my friends. I hadn't trained in a while, you know, um, and it was good, and it was good, and it was so good, and I felt okay. I'm home.
Yeah.
But then, there's always that thing looming in the background. Okay, when this is done, I got to take Pete to the airport, and I'm like, son of a, But we made it to the airport. You got on your plane. You were trying to give me some kind of candy that I did not want. I don't remember what it was, but you made it to your plane. You get to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Now you just went from everything that you went through in LA. Now you're going back to Minnesota with the possibility of having contracted something on the plane or at the airport, and you're going home to your family. How did you avoid this situation? Like, what did you do?
Well, so the plan was is that my best friend from college too, I was gonna stay with him. So he picked me up from the airport. But the plan was because I thought that I could save money at least to the end of the summer. So I thought I was
Mm-hmm.
gonna move in with mom and dad.
Okay.
But then I started to notice in myself, I'm gonna want to go out and see people. At that time, we could
Uh-huh.
we could go out, you know.
Right. Okay.
Think here in Minnesota, things were open.
Okay.
Restaurants, everything was pretty open, but you still had to,
Okay.
maintain social distance.
Right.
I felt really like, wow, things are kind of more carefree here, more relaxed, even
Uh-huh.
though I feel safe. But then my mom is a cancer survivor,
Okay.
she has diabetes, and my
Mm-hmm.
father is, the age is up there. So I said, they're doing such a good job taking care of themselves, staying healthy.
Right.
They have their routine or what their process down. I don't want to disturb that. I don't want to put them at risk. So then I
Uh-huh.
realized, all right, here we are back at I gotta look for an apartment. Like you said, bittersweet. I'm not gonna go into detail because it's very personal to him,
Uh-huh.
but my best friend was going through something. My best friend here that I was staying with was going through
Uh-huh.
something too,
Uh-huh.
and it just so happened that it worked out where he said, "Yeah, like I wasn't planning on this, but let's go find an apartment, even if it's temporary together."
Okay.
And so
Wow.
I hopped on and I found something through Facebook, and even that even that was a blessing. The
Uh-huh.
somebody was giving a sublease to,
Uh-huh.
a nice apartment for, uh what we were getting. The old Pete did not believe in manifestation. The old Pete did not
Mm-hmm.
believe in you could think something and it can happen. I was so afraid of thinking that way. My programming growing up, I realized, was a lot of wanting control.
Right.
And so because I had learned that I'd find so much joy in letting go,
Mm-hmm.
that's just what I do. Like my two favorite words are letting go and gratitude.
Uh-huh.
And every day of my life,
Uh-huh.
I just no matter what, I kiss the skies, I bless, the universe. I say my like when I meditate,
Uh-huh.
I have this little ritual at the end
Uh-huh.
where I kiss like temple, like my
Uh-huh.
mind.
Uh-huh.
I kiss my, so it's like my heart, and then I kiss
Right.
the earth that I,
Right.
because I believe that something is taking care of me,
Right.
but I still have to do the work.
Right. Okay. I mean,
So
it works.
yeah.
There is something to be said. The whole thing about manifesting. You know, bringing things into existence through your thoughts and your words.
Yeah.
Okay, and ultimately through your actions. But I find it fascinating, and for me to say that I find it fascinating is an understatement. But I find it fascinating that throughout, and I'm sure that this plays well into culture, but I think all cultures have it, where they tell us whenever we say something bad that could happen, they tell us don't say that, it's going to become a reality.
Hmm.
But they never tell us, well, think good things and say good things. It's the same thing. It's fascinating that the negative aspect of it is uh, enforced either culturally or socially, I don't know, but not the positive
Hmm.
aspect of it. To me, that's just fascinating, and I wanted to point that out. That's uh, like I said, that's fascinating. Now, so you found your living space. You got yourself a nice roommate who you know and obviously have a rapport with. That's sort of hitting the ground running, I would think.
Hmm.
You know, uh, how has it been to the new Pete reconnect with old friends, old acquaintances, people that knew you as the old Pete and they are now experiencing the new Pete? How has that interaction gone? How has it been?
Well, you know what's interesting is that what I originally thought it was gonna be like,
Uh-huh.
it was totally different because of the pandemic. Because because we getting together with people was not as simple as, all right, I'll just hop in my car and I'll go see you.
Right.
By being selective or by being, limited, I I changed in where I felt like I had to see everybody.
Right.
And instead, I just kind of let I just kind of let the universe show me
Mm-hmm.
who to talk to
Mm-hmm.
and who to be very mindful that they need to talk,
Okay.
and if I can create rituals like with my family. We meet every Sunday on Zoom, and I realized like how important that was to everybody,
Okay.
including myself. But I realized how valuable that was. And then on Fridays I train with my sister martial arts and boxing through Zoom.
Uh-huh.
She's in Chicago,
Uh-huh.
because I realized it's something that it helped her.
Right.
And so I've enjoyed it.
Uh-huh.
uh but definitely it's been a tug of war in my mind of, uh should I be seeing that person? Should I be contacting that person? Should I be,
Right.
and then this other aspect of just letting go and letting things happen as they happen.
Uh-huh.
and being okay with that. But
Right.
that's why I got excited about starting the podcast,
Right. Okay.
because I didn't want to stop being the me that
You
I had.
need to be.
Mm-hmm.
I've enjoyed every episode so far. You've reconnected with old friends, even though it hasn't been in a physical form. You know, it's been more through Zoom. You could have done when you were in California, but you know, I am certain that you left uh, bushels of people here in California that are saying, "Oh no, what am I gonna do without Pete?" I am sure that there are uh, people that you haven't seen but still miss and would have loved to say goodbye to, or at least have some sort of farewell of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
So has that? How have those relationships progressed, digressed, or stayed stagnant? How has it been difficult, or you're just going with the flow?
On some days, in the beginning, I felt bad. In
Okay.
the beginning, I felt like I need to maintain this relationship, until I got to the point of where I'm not listening to my own principle,
Okay.
which is, how do I feel when I'm doing all this?
Right. Okay.
So then I surrendered again, and I said,
Uh-huh.
the universe is going to take care of us. If it's a close friend who it's without saying,
Uh-huh.
it's like, I will be there for them, they will be there for me. I have to have faith in that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been hard, because I think sometimes I don't recognize that maybe someone's calling me. Like in the beginning, I wouldn't pick up.
Uh-huh.
But now
Mm-hmm.
I make it a thing. No matter who
Mm-hmm.
calls me, I'm just gonna
Mm-hmm.
pick it up and just make sure they're okay.
Okay.
There are certain rituals or certain relationships that have changed, that have altered, certainly. And in the beginning, I was attached to it. In the
Okay.
beginning, I was like, I felt bad. I felt like, oh, I really want to keep this, but I know I can't. So then
Right.
what I told myself was, they love you so much, they understand, and they will be fine with how things have to be, but just don't forget about them. Always let them know that you're going to be there for them. So I
Mm-hmm.
do check-ins, like you call me, or or other people will check in with me. And
Uh-huh.
so I think it's really just having faith that your relationship is really that powerful.
Right.
But then there are other friends who I'm like, oh man, where did that go? But at the same time, I just trust that it's all gonna be okay.
All right.
Because I don't want to stress myself.
And I mean, I think that that's very smart, and it's the right thing to do. Um, you know, I think that our attachment to people, or the relationships that we have with people, but mostly the relationships that we think we have with people, we stay attached to that and develop a negative emotional response
Mhm.
because this person is no longer there, or not at arm's reach as they used to be.
Right.
Um, but I mean, to me, that's the best thing to do. It's healthy. Personally, um, because I've been such a nomad, but I've met people throughout the country, and actually even outside of the country, who I haven't seen in sometimes decades.
Mm.
But when we do reconnect, it's like it never went away. I mean, you met Marisol. Remember Marisol?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I went maybe 12, 13 years without seeing her. I saw her when I came back to California, and the relationship, the love, the respect, everything was intact. And uh, to me, those are the relationships I want to have. I mean, I left for a year. I didn't check in with you guys every day,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
I did every so often. And when I came back, the relationships that I wanted here in California are still intact. And that's the energy, those are the relationships, those are the connections that I want to keep, that go beyond time and space.
Mm.
That where time and space are completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter if I'm here or I'm in, Australia somewhere. I'm still gonna have that friend. We don't have to check in with each other every day, but we're there. So I completely, I agree with you, and I think that you're handling it in the healthiest way possible. That leads us to where we are today.
Hmm.
Today we have Pete that has made himself at home back in Minnesota, reconnect with people, and all that good stuff, and connecting with some new ones. Namely, we have Miss Emily. Tell us about Miss Emily. I want to know about Emily. We all want to know about Emily.
What?
Yeah. How'd you guys meet?
Episode 15. Okay. No, no. That's
What
it.
happened?
We're gonna be doing an episode together about us.
Okay, so it would be okay. So no, we're not gonna get spoilers. I was hoping that we could get a sneak peek or something.
It's
Uh,
premature. Premature.
uh, all right. Notice that I am being a good friend by sidestepping that comment. So I'm very. I'll go into um my summary of your story of the past year. And the way I look at it, and as you've said numerous times today, going with the flow. Okay. It seems like the the universe, or whatever you want to call it, wanted you back in Minnesota. It made it very uncomfortable, but also abundantly clear that you should go back to Minnesota. What I draw from it is that uh, oftentimes life wants us to go right. It wants us to go in a particular direction, and if we flow with that, good things happen. It is when we resist what life wants us to do, things hurt. If your significant other breaks up with you, you try to hang on and this, that, and the other, and uh, you have you're so attached that you don't want to let go. It is a painful experience versus being thankful for the time that they were there, for everything that you lived together, the growth that this person helped you to have, but now it's run its course. there's nothing that says you won't be back in California. Just at this particular time, the right place for you to be was Minnesota. And it seems like I think that good things are happening. You are making good things happen, and I'm very happy about it. I'm very happy to see you out there doing your thing, doing your TikTok. But I mean, I don't. I mean, I get it from third parties. Look at Pete; he's having a good time, and I'm like, oh, look, that's good. He's having a good time. Um, and it looks like you're enjoying yourself. And at the end of the day, for me, life is about joy. Do the things that bring you joy, and do as little as possible of the things that don't bring you joy. And it seems like that's what you're doing. So I'm once again, it's bittersweet because you're not here, but you're out there doing your thing, and that's fantastic to see.
Thank you. It's very comforting, to have your best friend, recognize. I mean, that's what makes that makes that's what makes you a best friend, is that you're able to recognize, you're able to see, and like I always tell Emily, since the day that we met, which was in August, right? Is I just always
Be
wanted
careful,
some.
don't spoil, no spoilers. Remember, no spoilers. I'm trying to help you out here.
How come I can't talk?
Hey, you can talk, but I'm just trying to help. Miss Emily, I tried to help. I'm trying to get on her good side already.
Yeah, she's not gonna. No, but thank you. Yeah, I won't. I won't say. I'll save it. No, but
I mean,
thank you. Yeah, it's great.
No, I mean that's awesome, man. Seems like you're in a good place in your life.
Well, this what me?
Yeah. We have it's a 3 or 5 questions.
Oh snap! 5.
Yeah.
That's right. I
5.
forgot.
All right, Wong Wei. What are we going to put on your headstone?
I'm gonna be cremated.
Okay, what are we gonna what are
No.
we gonna carve on the?
and then thrown. Okay, no. I get what you're saying. Keep dancing, baby.
Keep dancing, baby. All right, that's good. That's good. Um, let's see. What do you want to be remembered as?
I want to be remembered as the person who allowed you, whoever you are, to be the person that you see yourself as or want to see yourself as, your best self. I mean, it's not really wasted time, but I felt like I wasted so much time in my life because I was so negative. I was so holding myself back from living my truth. So I want to be that person that allows other people to live their truth.
So you want to be remembered as a facilitator of one's truth.
Woo! Is that gonna go? Is that gonna go on my headstone?
Bro, are you getting a headstone or a Bible up there?
Yeah, right.
Animal that represents you and why?
I'll just say panda bear.
Panda bear.
Yep.
Okay.
Lately, I've been seeing panda bears. Like I just think that. So Emily likes raccoons.
Uh huh.
Trash pandas.
Right.
So I think I hear that word panda and I think of pandas.
Uh-huh.
So it's the next closest thing to trash panda. They're cute. They're cuddly.
First kiss.
First kiss.
When?
Oh my
When did it
gosh.
happen?
I can't remember. I was in ninth grade, and it was my first girlfriend.
Okay.
And so here's the funny thing: my first girlfriend, meaning the very first time that I was close to a girl, even
Mm-hmm.
physically, emotionally, all that stuff. Well, she leaned in. We were sitting on the couch, probably watching a movie or something like that. Her mom was
Uh-huh.
probably upstairs.
Uh-huh.
She leaned in for a kiss,
Okay.
and I was scared, and I backed off.
Uh-huh.
And I remember like she was not happy. I learned to go the other way, to go forward. So I don't remember the first kiss, but I remember the first rejection that I gave without knowing it.
Oh man. All right. Happiest childhood memory.
Wow, great question. I actually have a lot of them, but I can't think of. I was probably in kindergarten because I can't remember if I had school in the afternoon, but my mom and I, my mom would always take me to this restaurant called Baker Square. It's primarily for like seniors. You know, they have like pies
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of stuff. I remember going to breakfast with my mom,
Uh-huh.
and just it was kind of our thing. And
Okay.
then afterwards, I think we would go to the mall, and she'd go to the clothing store she liked to go to, and she'd talk to her friends. Well, what I remember is just having a great time, you know, eating some good food with my mom, probably getting, you know, some toys or something like that, like
Right.
from the restaurant. But
Uh-huh.
my mom would talk to everybody,
Mm-hmm.
like the waiters, uh like she had friends in these places that I think most people would just be like, you know, a customer or two.
Right.
And so I think that left a lasting impression on me on you said it, joy,
Right. Okay.
without
All right.
even knowing.
Right. No, and I mean the best things in life happen that way. Um, all right, so I'll leave you with that, but
Yeah.
I think that at some point you should share with your listeners the lobster story
Oh yeah.
because you brought it up, and I think it's a good story. It's a good fable, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that uh, if anybody, if one person benefits from it, it's worth telling.
Mm, yeah, you got it. This has been an amazing episode because to have a conversation with you, Henry, about something that's very important to me, I think it's just great. I think the listeners really got to hear the truth, my truth that I haven't been able to share and been wanting to share. So I thank you for that. I thank you for your friendship. Uh, and uh, listeners, we decided that we're going to bring Henry back, and he's going to be sharing with us next time. So um, so this concludes the year. Uh, for some people, the year was a shit show, as I've been hearing, a dumpster fire.
Yeah,
For others, it was something else.
right.
And I hope that through this episode, you're able to get something to keep you going, to keep you moving forward. And like Henry said, find joy in every facet of life. And so I appreciate you and look forward to having you back on. Any last words from you, brother?
Well, no, I'm honored that you asked me to be in this space today, to put you in this space and be able to ask you questions. Um, And I'm incredibly honored to be your friend and for you to consider me as a good friend. And um, go find joy wherever you can find it. Go get it. That's what life is about. Um, so with that, I think everything is said. And until next time, all
What are
right?
the three things? What are the three things? Do you remember?
What three things?
Or wait, four things. I always end every episode with four things.
Jesus Christ, the Mary, the Holy Ghost. Oh, that's just three. Jesus Christ. Oh no, four. You end. No, I cannot recall. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right. Next time I'm gonna have you do it.
Do
Okay.
what?
We'll talk about it.
All right. All right.
All right. All right, brother. Thank you so
All
much.
right, brother.
It's gonna
Thank
be.
you.
I'm looking forward to sharing this episode with everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah, everyone. Take care of yourself. Enjoy your the upcoming holidays coming up. Celebrate with however you can. Even if it's remote, celebrate. Find joy. Find celebration. Find love. Find laughter. And with that, have a
Happy
good night.
2021, people.
Happy
Have a good night. Thank you for
2021.
everything.
You are loved.
Thank you so much.
You are worthy. You are enough. Blessings to all of you. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next week. And remember, you are loved, you are enough, and you are worthy. Blessings to all of you.